Hello everyone. I just wanted to take a few minutes and talk to you about this little space I have here that's at a crossroads in my house. This little space here is right in between the pantry that goes off to the right and my kitchen that's off to the left. And behind me is the back door that leads out to the chickens and the garden. And in this space, because I'm always going through this area, I decided to put in this little shelving unit here. And I've been using it for many things all throughout the year. The shelving unit is basically knocked together with 1x2s and made some little shelves that go across here. It's not strong enough for what I really want to use it for, but it was a good start and the best used for the scrap lumber that I had. So what I put in the shelving unit right now, and what I'm using it for, is for some hydroponics and for some leafy greens growing. Some of it's for me, some of it's for the chickens. And simple Kratky hydroponics, really inexpensive. You're just using any old container that holds a liquid, any other container that can hold some soil or potting medium, and something that excludes light. It's better if the jars can do that normally, but if not, you just cover it with whatever you've got to exclude light from the nutrient solution, and that stops algae growth. And in here I've got about 26 plants. Those 26 plants are more than enough to provide 2 full plates of salad every week. And I've got lettuce, I've got green onions, I've got some arugula, I've got some azuna. It's kind of a spicy brassica leaf. And of course greens for the chickens, which is sheep sorrel and woodland sorrel with a massive aggressive rooting system, and I'm hoping to use that to give the chickens out in the workshop some leafy greens during the winter time. The bottom of this space right now I use for brewing alcohol, wines and beers. So I love making country wines, and it's pretty good use for all the leftover fruits that I might have or things that are frozen in the freezer and I want to start using them up, so I just make wines out of it. So in this one space right now I am fermenting alcohol and I'm growing food, and that's basically for the entire winter time. So now in the spring and early summer I also use this space. These plants will come out and I will use this for plant propagation. So as you can see, it already has lights in there, but when I want to do plant propagation, all I have to do is add in some seedling heat mats, and I can cover this area with plastic and it becomes a little seedling greenhouse. And so again, I have all these plants, I will have all these plants right next to the back door ready to go out. And finally, when the harvests come in, I can then use this space to store all my vegetables for processing or curing. And so I'm pretty much going to be using this, and I have been using this all year long. So a space like this, as I said, I made it out of scrap 1x2 lumber, or lumber that was ripped down to 1x2s. And the only real expense in here right now are those shop lights, which I picked up for $15 on sale. They're 20-watt LEDs. And running these lights for about 14 hours a day costs me, for all four, about $3.86 a month. And that's $3.86 right now for, again, 26 plants of leafy greens for myself, a few extra green onions, and some leafy greens for the chickens. Now these shelves are large enough to hold about 30 plants, but I don't think they're strong enough to hold that much weight, so I'm not going to try that. If I wanted to do that, I'm going to have to rebuild this structure, which I might do in the future. But yeah, this is a productive little space. It's about 4 feet by 18 inches, and it's used for fermenting alcohol, for growing food, for growing transplants and propagating and germinating seeds, and for storing vegetables ready for processing and curing. So It's a nice little use of a space here, and I just wanted to show that and let you know what is possible in such a small space. All right, thanks for watching. Okay, let's see how this goes. I've got a plate full of plants and 3 hungry chickens. Okay. Wow. They seem to like it. There we go. So yeah, the idea of this was to grow some weedy greens in a small indoor greenhouse setup I have, and just to give them fresh greens in the winter time. Seems to be a success. Alright, now let's just flip that around. Let them go after the other side for a bit. Yeah, let them peck that down a little bit, then we'll take it away and we'll let that regrow for next time. Good stuff. Ooh, they know I'm here. Sometimes it's a little bit scary opening this thing. You don't know what kind of a mood they're in. Hi, ladies. Oh, back up. Back up. I got what you want. Ow, not the fingers. Right. Ladies here are doing pretty good in the coop. Still staying rather warmish, rather dryish, and yeah, they came through the cold snap we had with flying colors. They slowed back their production on eggs. I got 1 frozen egg and 1 little fairy type egg, but they're back to normal and far better, producing eggs far better than I ever thought they would in the wintertime. Heck, I didn't think I was going to get any, much less what I'm getting now. So I'm basically feeding them a little bit of an extra treat. It's some seed grains, some old cat food I had, some cat food, seed grain, and some oats, and all soaked in a bit of milk for some extra protein and calcium. And that little bit of a treat seems to have played a part in the their ability to lay eggs in the middle of winter. So really happy with that. A little bit of chicken TV here. So I was out here actually about a week ago, and I kind of cleaned out their coop. It needs they've dirtied it up again, but there was a lot of broken down chicken manure in there, and I thought, why not scoop some of it out, put on some fresh pine needles and leaves and stuff, and they can have some clean bedding in here. So I did that. And so I took that and got that into buckets, and it was mostly composted, but I don't need to store it here all winter. So what I did, and I'm going to take you outside and show you what I did, is I used it, and I've already spread it out into the garden, into the fruit orchard actually. So I'll take you out there in a little bit and show you what was going on out there. Yeah, finish that off. Maybe I'll get you more. Well, heading out to the garden. Composting, even in the middle of winter, is an ongoing process. And I gotta get it done. Well, with well over a foot of snow on the ground, as far as the eye can see, And there's not a whole lot going on in the garden. And even the compost bins have a good old cap of snow on there. They're frozen for the season and they'll warm up in the spring. So hopefully those will be ready for spreading out on the garden. But in the meantime, I decided to clean out my chicken coop and throw it out here on the fruit orchard. I mean, there's no sense storing it up in the house or trying to compost it. It may not be good for annual plants, as it might burn the roots, so they say, but for perennial plants, I can't see that being any sort of problem. So took a couple buckets, brought it out here. Excuse the wind, I know it's going to be blowy, but there's nothing to break it right now. So yeah, I brought the buckets out here, spread some stuff around. That's going to melt into the snow. That's going to get covered with more snow. That's going to produce compost tea, composted chicken manure tea. And that should really give these perennial plants, these berry bushes and trees, a jump start in the spring. As I said, I only had 2 5-gallon buckets, so I did what I could. Maybe a third, and well, I'm going to make more, so I'll finish spreading out more compost when I get it. And hopefully this fruit orchard will just bust out with green leafy stuff and a ton of fruit next year. Well, that's all I'm doing, and it's chilly. I'm going to go back inside now. Have a great day.